I'm seeing a lot of story times about people in these PPP loans. I just want to know, like, did y'all really think y'all was going to get away with scamming our government? Just because you could get away with scamming people good 90% of the time doesn't mean you was going to get away with scamming our corporate business as government. Please be.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Inside Republic. On today's video, we'll be talking about the PPP loan frauds. Authorities have arrested numerous individuals nationwide for PPP loan fraud involving fake businesses, inflated payrolls, and misuse of funds. Kindly like and share this video, subscribe and follow for more videos like this. And to show us some extra love, you can send us some super thanks. We'll truly appreciate that. Now let's watch the following video clips.
Part 3. Story time about how I went to prison pregnant for getting a PPP loan. Okay, y'all, so I got a lot of questions that I see you guys had asked me. One of the questions was how much I got, how much time did I do in prison, and all of that. So I want to get into that. So I was on pretrial a whole year before I was sentenced to go to federal prison. I got indicted March 15th, 2023. I was sentenced April 21st, 2024. In between that time, my lawyer was telling me that I was only facing 0 to 6 months because of my criminal history was low. And if you know the feds, they base your sentencing off of a sentencing guidelines chart. So I ended up getting my PSR. If you don't know what a PSR is, it's a pre-sentencing report. Remember when I told y'all that my lawyer told me that I was only facing 0 to 6 months? Okay, y'all. So we get the pre-sentencing report, and it has all these enhancements on there. I was only supposed to pay back $40,000, which is what the prosecution asked for. And these people had me having to pay back $100,000. So that boosted my amount up. So if you get more than $70,000, you will get an enhancement of 8 points. They didn't let me get my 3-point reduction. Let me break down the $100,000. Okay, I had to pay back my loan. I had to pay back the person loan who was indicted with me. And I had to pay back 3 other people loans who I referred as well.
That PPP loan came back to bite me in the ass, y'all. These folks want me to pay them so much money, and to think that I thought I was actually doing something right. You know how you be out here and you be trying to figure out, what your next move gonna be and how you gonna make it happen. And then when something like that comes along, it kind of put you in a trance like, damn, this is actually something that I could actually get. And keep in mind, I do have a business, and I guess the person who did my paperwork kind of screwed up. And man, I'm put in a position where I either have to pay a lot of money or I could be going away for a while. And I never wanted that to be the case, Man, that PPP loan was something, man. It was like a breakthrough for you, when you were struggling.
Just want to get on here for a quick rant. So I just saw something on TikTok that was talking about PPP loans, and how like people are getting like arrest warrants out now for that. And for those of you who don't know what a PPP loan, also excuse my cold sore. I think it's cold sore. Is it? I don't know. But those who don't know what it is, it's pretty much a loan that was given out, I think in like 2020, to be able to help pay their employees because of COVID and stuff, and they didn't have any money or whatever. So it was to try to help the employees be able to still get paid of those companies, which a lot of people didn't use for that. And so these videos were talking about how there were a bunch of people who didn't actually have those companies. So they were filing fraudulent cases to try to get that loan, and it wasn't like a crazy amount. It was like I think 20 grand or something like that. I mean, it's a good amount, but you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like whoa. But so after some research now, like I think now this year they started doing it. They started going after those fake businesses. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like they're really scheming out here, you know what I mean? Like I get it. But at the same time, the other part of me is like, but what about those like big companies, rich CEOs who took advantage of that and did not pay out their employees with that, who use that money for their own, beneficial wealth, or use that money to invest to add more wealth to them. You know what I mean? And then what about our government, bro? Like, you're really gonna put out arrest warrants for people scamming the government and not sympathize with them when the government literally scams us every single day of our lives?
So guys, they have a hairstylist that was talking about how she got caught up and went to jail for the PPP loan, okay? And before I get into her story, let me say this real fast because I noticed that when we make videos about the PPP loan, people get in the comments and say, "Oh, y'all act like y'all want to see somebody go to jail." Two things, okay, I would never wish on nobody, and that's jail, okay, and the D word, all right? So that's not it. What TikTok do is when you kind of go viral about something you were talking about, that kind of content still come back up and they'll show it to you what's the latest or whatever the case may be. So just like we talk about a lot of stuff, we that's what we do on TikTok. We have uncomfortable conversations sometimes. So no, nobody's wishing anything. I'm just kind of giving people heads up. Is it anything you can do about the PPP loan and getting caught up? No, because when you deal with that type of money and they find out, it's nothing you can do. They're coming, okay, to knock on your door. Just hope and pray that it's not your time or your day will never ever come. I don't wish that on anybody. But when these people sit down and tell their stories, I guess they just want people to know they moving slow, but they still are calm. They still coming. And that's not for everybody. It's nowhere in the world they're going to be able to catch all those people.
Okay, TikTok, let's talk about the PP loan arrest warrant list. Now, I remember back in the time around COVID time, people were taking trips, honey. People were buying new cars. People had new lace fronts. People had new men. Baby, they was living it up, baby. They was doing the most. When I tell you, around COVID time, people was in the Bahamas. People was living their best life. They was rich. And, as time went on, they was brazen with it. They ain't gonna do nothing to us. That's, I'm from Tampa, Florida. So you remember back when it was tax fraud and PPP fraud, everybody was feeling like they was untouchable with the PPP situation. And people kept saying, y'all gonna get caught up in that shit. Well, I'll be damned. That list is long as hell. Now, during that time, I was, still working during COVID, and I'm looking at people just living their best ass life, going in, having a good time, buying homes, buying new cars. I was feeling some type of way. But some said, bitch, don't you do it. Don't do it. Because they was like marketing. You go to this person and, they hook it up and you get $23,000. You give them 15,000. I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just stick to the highways and the byways. Well, thank God I did, because honey, baby, listen, I hope you got some of that money. The feds have a 95% conviction rate. I hope you got some money.
As of April 2025, the U.S. authorities continue to pursue Paycheck Protection Program fraud cases, with numerous arrests and convictions highlighting the extensive misuse of pandemic relief funds. And in Texas, Michael and Tiffany Fullerton, they received a combined 32-year prison sentence for orchestrating a $3 million fraud scheme, using the funds for personal luxuries and business ventures unrelated to the pandemic relief. Similarly, in San Antonio, James Michael Bagron pleaded guilty to wire fraud after illicitly obtaining nearly $5.8 million from federal pandemic relief programs, spending the money on unauthorized purchases like real estate and vehicles. And in Pennsylvania, Daryl Dwayne Young admitted to a $4.8 million fraud involving falsified tax documents and bank statements to secure PPP and economic injury disaster loans. Additionally, 3 men in Illinois were indicted of a 1.4 million US dollars PPP loan fraud scheme, accused of misusing funds intended for employee payroll and operational costs. And to enhance accountability, a new bill proposes extending the statutes of limitations for prosecuting pandemic-related fraud from 5 to 10 years, aiming to recover misused taxpayer money and address the estimated 300 billion US dollars lost to fraud during the pandemic. So that's it for today. Kindly like and do comment down below, what do you think about this PPP loan arrest? Are you maybe one of the people that defrauded the government and are waiting to be arrested by the feds? Do let us know in the comment section down below. Until next time, take care.